I'm going to show you guys the most exciting exploit in all of Sons of the Forest. This one, you've no idea how excited I am about this. So I have found a way to actually build inside of caves. And no, not just little stick structures. I actually mean full-on log structures inside of caves, okay? This exploit is so busted, guys. The stuff we have to do to make this happen, not what you're expecting in order to make this happen. But once you do it, it's legit, and you can actually build in here. You can duplicate logs in here. You can do everything that you could do on the outside inside of the cave. Oh, guys, I'm so excited. You have no idea. All right, let me show you how I did this. It is so crazy to pull this one off. Okay, so first off, I tested this, and you can save and load, and you'll still be in this state where you can build in here. Now, this will probably undo it. I actually haven't tested this yet, but leaving the cave and re-entering is going to break this glitch that we're abusing. And I'm going to test this right now for you guys before we get too far into how to do this. So make sure that you don't do this because it will suck if you do this and it'll break it. But maybe not. Maybe it permanently bugs the game. So if I go back here, I can pick this up now. Yeah, now I can't put things down. So keep that in mind when building in here. I can't even put them back down on top of things that are already built. So once we do what I'm about to show you, do not leave the cave unless you want to have to do this again. And this is very difficult to do until you get a lot of practice at it. Now, this particular cave is the only one I've found so far that we can do this. Now, I'll be exploring other caves to test if we can do this. So this is the cave where you get the rope gun. So it's right here on the map. Now, there's a good chance I'll be able to find a way to do this to the other caves too. But this cave's the best cave for building because it has a giant, like, open area later on that you can build inside of if you want to. Also, I'll look at the other caves too. If you guys want me to look at the other caves, just let me know in the comments. But, okay. So what we're going to have to do in order to do this is go ahead and get some logs. Now, you're going to need, ideally, 2 logs in your hands. And you're going to look at the ground and change it to a single space like this. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the cave entrance. And first off, there's something I need to tell you before we get into the bug state. If you want to throw logs in, you can just look to the side like this and throw. And then the logs will get stuck in like this. And if you get it just right, they'll get far enough back in there that then you could go in and retrieve them from the other side. So if you ever want to get logs, like, you know, outside of this glitch, try to get more logs in there, you can. If you're trying not to dupe. If you're not going to do the dupe exploit, that's going to be the way you do it. We'll talk about that in a second. So what you're going to do is, on this particular one, you run all the way up and stop. And that'll let you go a little bit further than you normally would. And then you're going to look back there, and it lets you place a log back there. Now, you're barely going to be able to see, but you look back there until there's nothing on your screen, and you start to move left until it gives you these icons at the bottom to build, and you want to build, and it'll bring you back into the cave like this. Now, you're going to pick up the one you just put in, and now what you're going to do is you can't just go in the cave. If you go in the cave, there's a load trigger right there, or a trigger box that will detect that you're in the cave and stop you from doing stuff. So you're going to look to the right and kind of forward at this crack somewhere and try to place over into here, and it'll bring you up to here. Now you pick up the log you just put down, and now look to the right at this rock and try to build back in here. And if you can get it just right, it will get you on the other side of this. Now, this is a very tricky thing to pull off, but there we go. Okay. I might not be able to recover from this one, though, because it put me in a very awkward spot. I'm kind of low. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. I jumped. I was able to save it. Now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to place a log over here to get me up on the ledge. Okay, now I can move freely up on this little bugged out platform. Welcome to the underside of the map, by the way. If you've never been out of bounds, welcome to Out of Bounds. Okay. So now I can build out here, but we need to get inside of the cave to build. Well, luckily on this particular cave, there's this perfect little thing here. Now, it's very easy to slip and fall here, so you're going to want to sprint and jump across this, and then jump across. And now, you can see I can build, but we're not in the cave yet. Whatever you do, don't get near the entrance, because there's a trigger box over there that when you pass through it, it disables building. So what we can do is we can come in from the side right here, and thankfully, these walls only have one-way collision. Now, you may think that's an oversight, but I actually work on making video games, and that's actually a good thing. It makes the game more optimized because collision's extremely expensive. So they're actually smart for doing this. And in our case, we can abuse this by just walking back in. And now we have entered the cave, but we're we never activated the trigger box at the entrance of the cave. And the trigger box does more than just disable building. It also changes a bunch of the lighting and stuff. It disables the directional light of the sun. It enables like lots of different things and stuff. And now you'll notice we have the directional light from the sun inside the cave. Also, watch out, because the cave's not fully loaded when you're in it in this state. So, like, ideally what you're going to do is build everything you want to build and then leave the cave and come back in so that it'll load the cave correctly. Let me go ahead and load this cave, though, because I have a save where the cave is already in this bugged state. Because the way that this works is... Oh, God, this is so crazy. So the way that this works is there are variables inside of video games, and there's variables that they have in here for, say, are you in cave, yes or no? And since we never walked through that trigger box, the inside cave variable never got checked to true. So even when we save, it saves that variable, and that variable's not set to true when we load. So then we're able to get inside of the cave and still be in the bugged state. Now, there are some things like I hadn't actually tested running back here, but apparently the cave is either not loaded or the collision of the cave's not loaded. So I think when we go back here, I may just fall through the ground, or there may just be random holes. Now it looks like we're just going to fall through the ground because the cave's not fully loaded. So it looks like we're only going to be able to build in the entrance of the cave. I'm gonna test this some for you guys, though, and see what I can find out. All right, so I did some testing, and here's the situation. So let's grab a log. For this particular cave, it's pretty ironclad as far as these load triggers go. So from what I tested, what I think is happening is I think there's 2 trigger boxes here. And when you go through this animation, you go through one trigger box, and then it does not activate anything until you hit the second one. And that's how they know if you're going in or coming out. And because of that, I could not find any way to load the cave. So in this particular cave, you can only go so far. Also, I found out these walls have no collision at all. You can just walk right through them. Although there's an invisible one right here blocking you from going to the outside, which you can circumvent by placing a log over here and then like coming around, but doesn't help anything. I tried a lot of stuff. So if you want to know the limits of where you can build, first off, you can see the limits when you're out of bounds, but ideally you're going to build inbounds and then just reset this place and just have an awesome cave base with everything that you want. But to find out how far you can go, look at the ground with a log like this, and it will turn red when you can't go any further. So if you go right there is going to be the boundary where you see that red square. So I can walk right up to about here. If I go a little bit further, I'm going to fall off now. So you can use that to figure out what's the furthest that you can go. So in this particular cave in the entrance, we can go to right about here. We can build this much into the entrance of it. Now, I did test another cave, and it looks like it's going to be very inconsistent. Some caves are ironclad with the trigger boxes, and some caves, they were very sloppy with the trigger boxes. So I'm just going to have to test all the different caves to try to find out which ones you can get in and which ones you can't. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to go test every single cave in the game and try to find a way into every single one. I may just do it on my own, though, but let me know if you think that's worth my time. But for now, at least, we have this one. Now, there's something I want to talk about real fast, though, which is log dupe and not log duping. So in single player, if you need logs, the easiest way to get logs in here is going to be duping. So you place one sideways. If you're the host of a multiplayer, or if you're in single player, you can place one sideways, put a stick over the end, tap it, and logs will spawn. If the log doesn't spawn, try rotating a different way. Now, in multiplayer, on the other hand, though, if you are on multiplayer, if you're the host, you can do it this way. But if you're not the host in a multiplayer session, this will not work. Also, if you're watching this way in the future, this won't work because it'll probably get patched someday. So instead, if you are on a multiplayer session... Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I just need to dupe one real fast. Hold on. We need one more. If you're in a multiplayer thing and you... Well, there goes the log. If you're in multiplayer and you joined and you're not the host, then instead what you can do is you can place one like this. You can place one off the bottom. Hold on. This isn't going to work right. Hold up. All right, so let's... Oh, this is rough. All right, let's try... Okay, maybe the multiplayer dupe's going to be a rough one here. Let's see if I can get it to work. Maybe like this. And then put another one like that. And then go right here and try to place one right here. It looks like this multiplayer dupe's not going to work. So let me try the other one for us real fast, because I want to see what we can and can't do here. So I need to cut off a fourth. And then I need to place this one on its end. We can try the other dupe method, which is to do this. And then this. And then throw that on the ground. Take this. It looks like the dupe tricks, for some reason, for the multiplayer versions, don't want to work inside of this cave. I'm not really sure. You guys can play around with it and try to find, though, a way to do it. And that's what's going to bring me to my next point of if you're not someone who wants to dupe, or if just duping, I don't know, or if duping is taken out of the game and you still want to build a cave base, there's still going to be a way to do it. It's just going to take a lot of prep. So now that I've reset the cave, now it's going to be a normal cave. What you would do if the dupe is not in the game in the future, or if you just don't want to use a dupe exploit, is you can grab 2 logs at a time, you can get right up here and face to the side, and then throw them, and that'll put them in like this, and then you'll go into the cave, and then you'll be able to recover these and throw them down into the cave, but you won't be able to have building. So because of that, some things you need to know. So now building's disabled because I came in normally, but I got 2 logs in here. And you could do this over and over and over again to get all the logs that you need, and then you could do the exploit to glitch through the wall and come into here. Now, the one thing you need to know when doing this is only so many logs can be in the world at a time, the freeform logs like this. So, you can only do like 30 to 50 at a time before they start despawning, so don't waste too much time on it. But yeah, so if you're not going to dupe, then you're going to have to do something like that in order to get your logs into here. But it's totally doable. Dupe or no dupe, you can build in here. So yeah, it's pretty freaking crazy. I really hope this video helped you out, guys. If it did, check out the description of this video for other helpful videos like log dupe exploits, item dupe exploits, just guides, you know, treehouse guides, advanced guides, building guides, all sorts of stuff in the description of this video. Also, if you want to support me, just check out Art Gallery Simulator on Steam. There's a link for that in the description of this video. Just go there and wishlist it, and that would help me out a ton. But yeah, guys, this is the insane cave base exploit. Let me know in the comments before you go if you think it's worth my time to try to find all the caves we can go into, or if this is not really interesting to you, just let me know before I waste my time, because it's literally going to take hours and hours to try to test all the other caves. But yeah, just let me know. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Hope this helped you out. Now you know how to build awesome actual cave bases out of logs in Sons of the Forest.